everyone, I hope you are doing well. Myself Kushorkar, and today in this video I'm going to continue the series of revision the PIQ. So here you know that I had already made some videos, and this is the second part. So let's start. Question number 26. The line, not that he wished his greatness to create for politician neither love nor hate, occurs in, so it occurs in Absalom and Achitophel. So Absalom and Achitophel, this text is always asked, so you should know about this text. Absalom and Achitophel is a poetic political satire by John Dryden, who was living from 1631 to 1700. The poem is an allegory that uses the story of rebellion of Absalom against the King David. So you know that Absalom and Achitophel story, and this line, not that he wished his greatness to create for politician neither love nor hate. Okay. Now the next question. 11,396 definitions of romanticism were given by, so it is given by F.R. Lucas. The In Decline and Fall of the Romantic Ideal, which was published in 1948 by F.L. Lucas, counted 11,396 definitions of romanticism. Lucas was an English classic scholar and literary critic. So he gave 11,396 definitions of romanticism. Then the question number 28. The term stream of consciousness is derived from the writing of, so it derived from the writing of William James. In literary criticism, stream of consciousness, also known as interior monologue, it is a narrative mood or device that depicts the multitudinous thoughts and feelings which pass through the mind. The term was coined by William James in 1890 in his book The Principles of Psychology. The Principles of Psychology. So the term given by William James, stream of consciousness. Then Scene O Cassie's Juno and Peacock is, so Scene O Cassie's Juno and Peacock is a play, is a tragicomedy play. So it is a tragicomedy play, and the play is highly regarded and often performed in Ireland. It is set in the working class tenement of Dublin in the early of 1920s during the Irish Civil War period. So it is a tragicomedy. Then reader response theory implies that, so response theory implies if the readers of an age construct the meaning. So reader response criticism is a school of literary theory that focuses on the reader and their experience of a literary work. Modern reader response criticism began in the 1960s and 70s, particularly in the US and Germany, in works by Roland Barthes. So reader response theory, these particularly in US and Germany in the works by Roland Barthes, comes upon. Then, which of the following author book pair is correctly matched? So, The Ring and the Book is a long dramatic narrative, the more specially a verse novel of 21,000 lines, written by Robert Browning, and it was published in 4 volumes from 1868 to 1869. So Robert Browning's works are always asked, you should know. And Unto This Last by John Ruskin, The Ring of the Book by Browning, Bleak House, by whom? Ideals of the King by Tennyson, right? So Bleak House by whom, you have to write in the comment section. Okay, so next question, myth criticism focus on, so myth criticism focus on recurrence of archetypal pattern. So it is a recurrence of archetypal pattern. Myth criticism is famously known as archetypal literary criticism, and archetypal literary criticism is a type of critical theory that interprets a text by focusing on myths and archetypes in the narrative, symbols, images, and character types in literary work. As a form of literary criticism, it dates back to 1934 when Botkin published archetypal pattern in poetry. Then the next question, question number 33. The phrase dissociation of sensibility was first used by, so you know this, first used by T.S. Eliot. Dissociation of sensibility is a literary term first used by T.S. Eliot essay The Metaphysical of Poets in 1921. It refers to the way in which intellectual thought was separated from experience of feeling in 17th century. So dissociation of sensibility, he used it in his essay The Metaphysical Poet, which was published in 1921. So he said that how these poets can dissociate their sensibility, how they dissociate their sensibility, and this is the true feature of a poet need to have. So he used the word dissociation of sensibility. He also used the word mm, the another term which is the association of sensibility, something like that, right? So he used the term dissociation of sensibility in the metaphysical poets. Okay, so then the next question, an idyll is usually a poem about a, so the ideals is usually a poem about a picturesque country life. Picturesque country life. An idyll is a short poem descriptive of rustic life written in the style of Theocritus' short pastoral poems. The idols. Unlike Homer, Theocritus did not engage in heroes and warfare. His idols are limited in a small, intimate world and describe scenes from everyday life. So, idols is a picturesque country life, and idyll is a poem about a picturesque country life. So, Theocritus used it, unlike Homer, because Homer used to write about heroic thing and warfare heroes, and he used to write this country life. Then the lost generation refers to the generation that comes to maturity in the in 1920s. The lost generation was the generation that came of age during World War One. The term was popularized by Ernest Hemingway, who used it as one of the two contrasting epigraphs of this novel, The Sun Also Rises. So, The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway, and it was published in 1926. Here he used the word the lost generation. Then French Revolution has a significant impact on, so French Revolution, you know that French Revolution has significant impact on romantic literature, and William Wordsworth also influenced by this French Revolution. The French Revolution was a period far-reaching social and political upheaval in France, lasted from 1789 to 1799. So, liberty, fraternity, these things, right? Okay. Then equality, liberty, and fraternity. Okay. In which poem does the following line appear? Our birth is but a sleep and forgetting. So this line is appeared in the poem Ode and Intimation of Immortality from Recollection of Early Childhood by William Wordsworth. Also known as Immortality Ode, is a poem by William Wordsworth completed in 1804. Our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. Tale of a Tub is about, so Tale of a Tub is about contending religious parties. Tale of a Tub was the first major work written by Jonathan Swift, his most difficult satire and perhaps his most masterly. The tale is a prose parody divided into series, composed in 1694 to 1697. It was eventually published in 1704 and it was long regarded as a satire on religion. Then Congreve, the way of the world ends with, so the way of the world ends with reconciliation of petulant widowhood. The Way of the World is a play written by English playwright William Congreve. It premiered in the early March 1700. It is widely regarded as one of the best restoration comedies. It ends with the reconciliation of petulant widowhood. So it ends with the reconciliation of petulant widowhood. So restoration dramas are most important. Please note down it, and you have to know about every single point of these restoration dramas, their publication date, the author's lifespan, you have to know. Then, on seeing whom does Miranda exclaim, "Oh, Father, surely that is a spirit, Lord, how it looks about." So, by looking at Ferdinand. So, you know that on the first side, by looking Ferdinand, she falls in love with Ferdinand. The above lines have been taken from Shakespeare's famous play, The Tempest, written in 1612 to 11. Then secular influence on the early English drama were, so it were middle class life, moral beliefs and uprising subalterns. So secular influence on the early English drama were middle class life, moral belief and uprising of the subalterns. Then John Bunyan's The Pilgrim Progress was written while he was in prison. Okay, so he was in prison because he was preaching. He don't have the license of preaching, but he was preaching, so that for this reason he was in prison. So in prison he wrote the most famous writing, the masterpiece, which is The Pilgrim Progress. The Pilgrim Progress is a 1678 Christian allegory written by John Bunyan. It is regarded as one of the most significant works of religious English literature. Bunyan wrote this while he was in Beaufort jail. Okay. In Juvenalian satire, the speaker is a serious moralist. A Juvenalian satire came into existence after Roman satirist Juvenal. He wrote a collection of satirical poems named Satires in the late 1st and early 2nd centuries AD. Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice most clearly shows the influence of, Samuel Richardson, 1869 to 1761. So he is also known as the father of novel, and his major novel were Pamela and Clarissa. Pamela published in 1740 and Clarissa published from 1747 to 78. So Pamela is the first novel, right? So Richardson was Jane Austen's favorite novelist. Okay. The most important of the evolutionists during the Victorian period was Charles Darwin. As you all know, in England 1859, during the Victorian period, Charles Darwin published a book titled On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection. It made the Victorian experience a great age of doubt. So it gave them the doubt that they thought that we came from the God and Adam and Eve. They believe in this story. They believe in Bible story. But when Darwin wrote this book, which is Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection, it became a total chaos. Okay, so the next question, question number 46. A philosophical attitude pervading much of modern literature is, so it is a It is absurdism. Absurdism is a philosophical attitude pervading much of modern drama and fiction, which underlines the isolation and alienation that human beings experience. Then, question number 47. The term magical realism was first introduced. So, it was introduced by French Rowe. So it was introduced by French Rowe. The term magical realism first appeared in 1955, although the term magister realismus translated as magical realism. So it was introduced by Franz Rowe. He was a German art critic. In 1925, he gave this term. Magical realism is an acceptance of magic in the relational world. It is also known as fabulism, marvelous realism. Okay, so you know that who is the famous writer of magical realism. This exam, the last exam, also they gave these questions that you have to select the odd one out from the options, and Salman Rushdie, then Marcia, they are the famous writer of magical realism, right? Okay, then the English Indian novelist who for the first time addressed the question of language and indigenous experience was so R.K. Narayan. R.K. Narayan, his full name was Rasipuram Kasirano, Krishna Swami Iyer Narayan Swami. So you should know the full name also, because you can't say that this question cannot be asked. Okay, they can give you this type of question also, full name. Okay, so he was an Indian writer who has been compared to American William Faulkner, and who also created a fictional town that stood for reality. Narayan is the first to address the question to language and indigenous experience in Indian English fiction. G.V. Desani's All About H. Hatter is written in a picaresque mood. All About H. Hatter is a novel by G.V. Desani chronicling the adventures of Anglo-Malay man in search of wisdom and enlightenment. So, G.V. Desani's All About H. Hatter is about an Anglo-Malay man in search of wisdom and enlightenment. It was published in 1948. So it was written in picaresque mood. Then the last question for today, the rhyme scheme of Shakespearean sonnet, and it is known by all, I think. So it is A B A B C D C D E F E F G G, and these questions, the Shakespearean rhyme scheme are mostly asked. So it is an important question. The Shakespeare sonnet has the rhyme scheme A B A B, C D C D, E F E F, and G G, and you know that he introduced he also wrote the in couplet. Okay, so forming three quatrains, there are three quatrains, mean 4 lines in group, and closing couplet mean 2 rhyme lines. So earlier it was stated, and why I forget today, I don't know. So maybe I was not feeling well. So earlier it was 2 para, and then Shakespeare introduced 3 quatrains, 4 lines in each, and closing line is closing couplet, which is 2 lines. Okay, so it is A B A B, C D C D, and E F E F, and G G. Okay, so thank you for giving your time, and if you like, please hit the like button and give your comment. So thank you.